Assault rifles are extremely popular in Call of Duty. In fact, they're probably the single most popular weapon class in the series, but does that mean everybody likes every assault rifle? I don't think so, definitely not. What is up everybody, Jimmy or Chaos, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to be checking out what I think are the 20 most hated assault rifles ever put in Call of Duty. So you let me know which AR you hated the most, drop a like on the video, and I'm going to start off with a pretty obvious pick today at number 20. The Vulcan COD World War II. Now this was one of the first DLC assault rifles to ever be added to the game. Quickly made a negative name for itself because, well, it was easy to use. Had a decent fire rate, moderate damage, but what made it so hated was the recoil pattern mixed with that high caliber attachment in the game. The recoil, 100% vertical, so you know, aim center mass, ride it all the way up to the enemy's head. Then once you hit their face, the high caliber damage boost would give you a free headshot kill. It was way too easy to use, and it was super common to run into people just sitting at a head glitch, spamming the high caliber Vulcan instead of moving around, playing the game the way you're supposed to play it like it was intended. I think it's a good way to start today's list. And guys, before we move on, if you're looking for a gift card, no matter the amount, check out g2a.com. The link is at the top of the description. They've got every gift card you could imagine. At number 19, the Maddox in Black Ops 4. Now, you may have loved the Maddox in the game, but I didn't. And I know a lot of you were probably there with me. I would think so. I don't know. Bullpup assault rifle, MLG rifle of choice, meant you were constantly getting killed by sweaty tryhards trying to get a new kill record or get recognized by a pro team for their come up. Now, compared to other ARs in the game, it really wasn't even that much better. I mean, the versatility is what made it so appealing. I get that to the pros, and since the pros loved it, well, guess what? Every single Twitch.tv pub stomper loved it too, and it got really annoying to go up against Maddox spammers. If you were an MLG tryhard in Black Ops 4, you were either spamming the SOG SMG or the Maddox assault rifle. I, personally, hated them both equally. Guys, I just want to say a quick thank you. I read every comment on every single video, and you guys are the best. You really, really are. This community on this channel is just seasoned. It's been around the block, and I truly, truly appreciate you guys engaging with me every single day. At number 18. The ACR 6.8 in Modern Warfare 3 2011. Look, we all loved the gun when it was in our hands, but let's look each other in the eyes and let's be honest with each other. We all harbored a little bit of resentment towards it, well, because it was overpowered. Easily the best gun in Modern Warfare 3 if you're not going to argue the MP7, and if you're going for MOABs or high kill gameplays, there was no reason to use anything else. The ACR would kill almost instantly up close. It only took a couple more shots from max range, and it was all done with zero recoil. It was satisfying to use, but when the entire enemy team is spamming it right back in your face, it could get annoying and hated. At number 17, the M16 in Black Ops 3. This wasn't the best M16 in COD history, no, but it did make a strong argument for second place, and guess what? Locked behind supply drops. Yeah, zero recoil, great fire rate, absurd one burst kill range. If you equip this thing with the long barrel attachment in that game, it could literally get a one burst kill from across the map. And it was a hit scan weapon. That meant all you had to do was point and click. Didn't have to worry about bullet drop. Didn't have to worry about travel time. You just pointed, you clicked, you got 3 instant hit markers, poof, the enemy was gone. Now, it wouldn't have been so frustrating if it had been given to everybody, but guess what? You had to be lucky because it was behind supply drops. At number 16, the STG-44 in COD World War II. Now, many in the COD World War II community hated the STG. They called it the sweaty tryhard gun for good reason. Compared to most other guns in the game at launch, the STG was significantly easier to use because it functioned like a traditional COD assault rifle. 30-round mag is pretty big for an AR in this game. Fire rate solid, moderate damage. It actually gave you a very, very quick time to kill. Recoil, pretty easy to keep under control. Took minimal effort. Basically, every MLG tryhard was running around with the STG for the first few weeks of COD World War II until they unlocked the bar, which we'll actually talk about later. Also, on COD World War II, since it is now out on Game Pass. At number 15, the BAL. But the BAL in Modern Warfare 3 2023, haha, I got you. Wasn't quite as powerful as its older brother. The remake was still a little too good, and it did get under people's skin, especially since it was kind of annoying to unlock due to the way the DLC weapon challenges worked in the game. Much like the original BAL, 2023 version had an insane time to kill. It was versatile. There really wasn't anything you could do against a good BAL player. They were going to melt you up close. They were going to melt you from across the map because the time to kill on it was really good in every scenario for some reason. Again, not quite as hated as its older brother. Spoiler alert for the rest of this video, but definitely deserving of a spot today. At number 14, the Grau 5.56 in Warzone 2020. Raise your hand if you remember when the Grau was the meta weapon in Warzone. When I say meta, I mean it in the most literal sense. When the Grau was at its peak back in the original Warzone days, it was literally the only gun worth using. It was a laser beam, had amazing time to kill from any distance, so it was the best gun for close, mid, and long-range engagements. This thing was even out sniping the sniper rifles at one point, and while some of us may be nostalgic for this era of Warzone, myself included, there are some aspects that I don't miss. This is one of them. It was completely broken. So many people absolutely despise going up against it. It may have been fun to use, yeah, but you hated getting killed by this thing. At number 13, MCW in Modern Warfare 3 2023. What a name! It's one of the base assault rifles in the game and was meant to be the new universe's equivalent of the ACR 6.8. Just like in classic Modern Warfare 3 style, it was a little too good. Wasn't quite as overpowered, but arguably more annoying because of how much better it was than everything else in that class. Fire rate may have been low, of course, but the damage, well, it was juiced. Recoil, there wasn't any. Blast people out of the match over and over again. No consequence, no effort. I mean, I think people get nostalgia goggles for the original Modern Warfare 3's ACR, myself included, but in the new Modern Warfare 3, those nostalgia goggles, they're not an option. And that led to the MCW, what a name, being much more hated than the gun itself. Well, the original gun. Yeah, you know what I mean. At number 12, the FAMAS in Black Ops. Another example of a gun everybody used. Everybody loved spamming it, but everybody hated getting killed by it because it was so overpowered and so spammed. It was the best gun in the original Black Ops by a landslide. It was. I mean, the fire rate, the damage profile, it fired at 900 rounds per minute. Would kill in 3 shots up close, 4 shots across the map. Gave it the best TTK possible in basically any scenario in this game. Everybody loved using it. Nobody wanted to go up against it because you knew it was broken, it was busted, and even if you were the one dominating the lobby with it, you had to feel just a little dirty afterwards. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. At number 11, the ACR in Modern Warfare 2 2009. Everybody remembers it fondly. I get it. It's good for good reason. It was a satisfying gun to use, but the thing that a lot of people forget about is the fact that so many people hated this thing because it was seen as cheap and cheesy. Were you there for the original? Did you use this? If you were there back in Modern Warfare 2, you remember that as much as you loved using it, it was really, really frustrating to get killed by because it was so easy to use and you never felt really good about getting killed by it. Even if you go back and look at old forums and videos from the late 2000s and early 2010s, there were a lot of people that called the ACR overpowered and lame. If you weren't an avid Modern Warfare 2 player back in the day, you probably thought everyone loved this gun, but it was actually pretty hated in the moment. I was there. At number 10, the FAL in Modern Warfare 2019. This gun was added to the mix a few months after release. It was the first time the weapon appeared in a full-fledged Call of Duty game. That's cool. Fast fire rate, built-in suppressor, that's awesome. Quickly became one of the most sweaty weapons of choice, ended up being one of the most obnoxious guns in the game. You know the Modern Warfare players that would slide cancel around every corner, spam the stim shot every 5 seconds because that was it. That was the target audience for the FAL. Quickly made it one of the most hated guns in the game. And since we are talking about hated Modern Warfare rifles, we got that segue. At number 9, the M4, Modern Warfare, overpowered on day 1. Several nerfs later and adjustments, still overpowered. You can boot the game up right now. See exactly why everyone hated this thing out of the gate. It just did way too much. It filled way too many roles. It was an amazing close range weapon. It was a good long range weapon. Amazing stealth weapon. It was a sniper. Heck, I mean, literally did it all, and you unlocked it just a few levels of grinding in multiplayer. Super easy. I've said before, I may have enjoyed Modern Warfare more if the weapon balance was better and the more interesting guns were more viable, but due to complete powerhouses like the M4, the FAL, and the MP5, there was zero variety in the multiplayer. The M4 was absolutely everywhere in this game. Absolutely one of the most hated guns in the game. At number 8, the BAR in COD World War II. Told you we'd be coming back to this gun. It was the last proper assault rifle you unlocked in COD World War II when the game first dropped. I would say it was OP, right? Sledgehammer nerfed it a few days after launch. Then they had to nerf it again a few weeks after launch, but it was still overpowered. People were calling the BAR the BAL because of how many similarities there were between this thing and the infamous Advanced Warfare BAL. 3-shot kill range? Stupid. Way too easy to control. Outclassed basically everything in the AR class as well as many of the SMGs. With how many people were frustrated with COD World War II during the launch period because it was gross, I mean the bugs, the lackluster gameplay, overpowered weapons like the BAR, they got a lot of hate. They got more hate than they probably would have. If you were there during the first few weeks of COD World War II, you absolutely understand where I'm coming from and why this made it in the top 10. At number 7, The FAL OSW in Black Ops 2. This gun was disgusting. Don't get me wrong, it was fun to use, but if you felt dirty using it, I understand. You would drop 60 kills and then have to go take a shower before the next match. A semi-auto AR, super high fire rate cap, 0 recoil, 2-shot kill range, penetrate cover easily if you're running the MMS optic on it. You could literally just melt people through the walls. It was. I mean, if you were going up against someone with a half-decent aim and a solid trigger finger, it was game over. The gun was busted. It was so busted that Treyarch completely banned it from competitive play instead of even trying to nerf it. That just speaks volumes. And number 6, the XM4 in Black Ops 6. Raise your hand if you remember when Black Ops 6 first came out. The first couple weeks, the XM4, literally the only gun you would see in the kill feed. I'm not kidding. If you look up BO6 gameplay from the first week, you'll see lobbies where the XM4 was quite literally the only gun in the lobby. Why was that? Well, it was unlocked by default, completely overpowered, shocker, shredded up close, shredded across the map, easy to use, gigantic magazine options, including a drum mag for some reason, because why not? And basically, there was no reason to use anything else until it was patched several times. It isn't quite as busted as it was on launch day. In fact, I think it's actually pretty well balanced now. Correct me if I'm wrong. But it was one of the most hated guns in the game for a long time. And the amount of hate it got during the first few weeks was more than enough to get it the number 6 spot. Nobody likes it when one gun completely dominates the multiplayer, especially when it's a starting weapon. Speaking of that, now we arrive at the top 5. The STG and Vanguard. Your starting assault rifle in the game. Absolutely overpowered, way too easy to use, and one of the only guns you saw online for a while because people just kept discovering new broken gunsmith builds for the STG. Every time Sledgehammer patched one, a new one would pop up. It was like whack-a-mole. Since it was unlocked by default and super easy to use, that meant everyone was constantly spamming it, experimenting until they just came up with the newest OP build for it. Even without the OP builds, it was busted. Way too easy to use for the time to kill that it had. I still don't understand why Sledgehammer gave it to you right when you turned on the game. I mean, why do they do that? They do that with a lot of their COD games. And number 4, Kilo 141 in Warzone 2020. Once again, starting assault rifle in Warzone, meaning every single free-to-play player had it in their inventory out of the gate. And guess what? It's also the easiest gun in the game to use. And for some reason, nobody was nerfing it. It was a laser beam. Ammo capacity was great. Long range time to kill was great. Meant the meta in Warzone for a long time was right there. Sit on a rooftop with the Kilo, spray down at everyone without having to worry about them returning fire until they whipped out their own Kilo from their own rooftop. Yeah. At number 3 today, the MV4 in Infinite Warfare. Man, starting assault rifle. Shocker. Comically easy to use. Now remember what I said about the XM4 in Black Ops 6 and it was the only gun you would see in the kill feed? Well, the MV4 was the only gun you would see in the kill feed for the first couple months. Infinity Ward took their sweet time nerfing it because frankly, it wasn't really overpowered. It was just ways too easy to use in the game like this. With how many crazy movement options and equipment pieces there were in Infinite Warfare, a lot of people just said screw it. They used the simple, most straightforward, easy to use M4 ripoff in the game. They didn't even think about it. The spam was absurd. It says it wasn't technically overpowered. They didn't patch it. It destroyed the variety in the game. It's still one of the most hated guns in the franchise. At number 2, the BAL in Advanced Warfare. There are few things in COD history that have been as frustrating as an assault rifle that was not only unlocked by default and the best gun in the game and never properly nerfed, but on top of all that, the cherry on top of the sundae, it had a lot of overpowered variants. Made it even better, even more overpowered. The BAL was a major reason why a ton of people stopped playing Advanced Warfare altogether. Sledgehammer may have a habit of giving you really good guns right out of the gate, but the BAL, it was the worst example in COD history. Still has not shaken that rep. We called it BAL of Duty for a reason. At number 1 today, no shocker for you veterans here on the channel, M16 in Modern Warfare Remastered. Now the M16 was busted in COD 4, we all know that. But then MWR came around and, well, it was bad. It's completely overpowered, still arguably the best burst gun in COD history, but now the community had grown a little bit. The average COD player was much better at aiming and shooting. The connectivity was better. I mean, a lot of people abused this thing. The connection in MWR was so much better than COD 4, so hitting one burst kills was so much easier. Not only was it the best gun in the game, it was completely annihilating the variety in the most matches and easily the most hated AR in COD history if you ask me. There shouldn't be a debate here, there probably will be, but if you experienced it, you're on my side. There you have it, my friends. Hope you have a fantastic day. See you soon.